spicy. This is a spicy bucket of brick today. I love it. So you got to figure out who's going to win between that matchup. Mm-hmm. You thinking, uh-huh?
Welcome to Point Game with John Wall and C.J. Toledano, presented by DraftKings. Don't forget, DraftKings is your home for all the action across the NBA and gets you closer to the game we all love. The crown is yours. On today's episode, we are joined by three-time NBA All-Star, three-time All-NBA, another Wizard legend. Gilbert Arenas is joining us later on in the show. But first, John, second round of the playoffs is kicking off. But I wanted to talk, because we're so early in these series, I wanted to start off today's show by asking you, who have been some of the most impressive players that you've seen in this postseason so far?
1, 2 for me. There's no order, but I'll say order for sure. Anthony Edwards 1, Jalen Brunson 2 for me.
Yeah. You think that's going to carry on into this second round?
Well, I haven't seen Jalen Brunson game 1 yet, but from Ant-Man's game 1, it looked like it's going to continue to go on.
How
coming out?
Yeah, like how shocked were you to see him just, picking up where he left off in that first series and doing it against the reigning champs?
Not shocked because he has the confidence. You know what I mean? It's like I said before, he has that old school mentality.
Yeah.
In the new school era. You know what I mean? He's not backing down for nobody. He competes at a high level. He guards. He's probably the best two-way superstar, star, whatever you want to call him right now.
Right.
In the league. You know what I mean? He's taking on every challenge. He's doing it on the other end. Just reading the stats that leading the league in fourth quarter points in the playoffs, I think like 10.4. And you could tell like they all realized this year, and I think what helped their team was last year Cat was still trying to figure out if he was the guy or Ant was the guy.
Yeah.
And then they had Nas Reed and Jaden McDaniels out in the playoffs. Now you get those two guys back healthy. A great floor general and Mike Conley that knows how to orchestrate, run the team. Nas Reed wins 6 Man of the year. Their coaches did a hell of a job. And then Cat, like, you know what? It's Ant-Man show.
Yeah.
I'd take the backseat, be the second best player. But then some nights he still is like the best player, you know what I mean? Depending on who they're playing against and how he get it going. And I think that made them tough because they found their identity and everybody's following Ant-Man and the way he's playing. You got to follow that lead.
How do the Nuggets game plan do you think is going to change their approach remaining games?
I think for them, they really just – I watched the game. They really just say make shots for real. You know what I mean? I think outside of – even though Jokic had the numbers, he didn't shoot a good field goal percentage. And then I think Michael Porter, I think, was the only other one that really scored well for them in that game. I mean, Jamal Murray got going a little bit late. But they're a team that's been there before. And they never get too high. They never get too low. They know what they got to do to try to win and get wins. And like Minnesota, I like their identity because, I mean, the way they came into their approach is we got one, let's get another one. Yeah. I mean, they didn't go out celebrating after one win and feeling like they accomplished something. Like Kobe said before, like, I think he was up 3-0 or up 2-0. And they was like, you're not happy? He was like, what the hell is he be happy for? The job's not done to the first team to 4.
Yep.
So we done seen teams be up 3-0, lose leads. We've seen be up 3-1. That happened one time in the finals. So, you know what I mean? The job is never done until you say 4 on that board and you move into the next round.
Yeah, let's talk about Jalen, who you had mentioned, Jalen with the Knicks-Pacers series. What's going to be the key for him to continue what he's doing?
Well, I think just the way the offense is, it just depends if he's making shots or not.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to find a way to create himself. He's crafty. And a lot of people were surprised, and then a lot of people was also mad. You know what I mean? When he sounded like, why he get this contract from the Knicks? Is he that good? They don't understand. The year before that, when Luka was out against Utah, he was getting 40-point playoff games. Yeah. He was winning games. You know what I mean? Him and Spencer Dinwiddie was winning games. He was doing the same type of stuff now. It just he has his own team now, and he's the face of the New York Knicks. He's a franchise player. So I think they put the right pieces around him. I mean, you had to make a couple adjustments when Julius Randle got hurt. You know what I mean? But adding OG Anunoby was perfect for them, a defensive guy that make corner threes. Got Josh Hart that does the same thing, make corner threes, defend, but can make plays off the dribble. DiVincenzo's out there knocking down shots, guarding. And he's playing like he was at Villanova for a national championship game.
Right.
And then he got Hartenstein that's a great big that can pass. He works hard, defends. He can rebound. So I think they have great chemistry and great camaraderie now. And they know who their leader is. And they're falling asleep. But also, man, you could just tell they all know each other. They've been around each other. Like two of those, outside Jalen Brunson, two more guys, they played on Villanova together. So him making the passes in, like that game against the Sixers, he didn't have to make that pass. He could have been the guy that wanted to take the big shot, but he trusted his teammates, and Josh Hart knocks down a big three.
Yeah, I think one of the storylines that people have been running with is the Pacers are coached by Rick Carlisle, and if people don't remember,
Yeah, I seen that.
Rick Carlisle was the coach Jalen Brunson that postseason where Jalen was, getting like 10 minutes. Now, is that the media kind of blowing that storyline up, or do you really think that Jalen has that on his mind a little bit? As I don't know if revenge is the word, but on his mind of like, hey, I want to kind of prove some people in my past wrong.
I don't think he has to prove anything. I think Coach Rick Carlisle know how good Jalen Brunson was. You know what I mean? Is it the reason why he didn't play him? Nobody knows. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I know he probably wants to beat him. I mean, it's a guy that coached him. Some people might take it as it didn't end well with their relationship. I don't know. Nobody knows that but them two, if they came out and spoke on it. But I know he has something in the back of his mind that's motivating him even more. It's like, okay, I get to play against my old coach. And I'm also playing against Tyrese Halliburton. That's another good point guard in this league. That's on the USA team. Then if he feel like he got snubbed, that's a position he feel like he could have got. So that's always a little motivation you could find as a player to try to motivate yourself even more than what you already motivated.
Okay, we'll call that series. Knicks Pacers, who you got?
I think the Pacers, I think the only thing that might hurt the Knicks is the Pacers play a lot of players. They got a lot of depth and they play with a lot of speed. I think the Knicks probably play like 7, 8. So I'll take Pacers in 6. I might be wrong, but I'm taking Pacers in 6.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Moving on back to the West. Jason Kidd just got announced this morning that they're extending him in Dallas. So they figured that out. I wanted to ask, I guess, lead that up to Lakers' new head coach. I know I asked about the Lakers a lot, but that is one vacancy, probably the biggest vacancy in the NBA right now. So who do you think is going to take over that role for the Lakers? And I can name some names for you too.
You can name me the names. I know a couple of them, but I know they probably want T. Lue for sure. I mean, because Brian had that connection with T. Lue before.
Yeah.
I see they have J.J. Redick on that radar, so he might get that.
Well, let me ask you this, because the Redick stuff is they just went through Darvin Ham. Who they said was too much of a player coach. I think, one of the narratives that people have about J.J. Redick is you can't bring in a rookie coach. What do you think about that? Like, we've seen Mind the Game. We've seen J.J. and what he's done post-playing career. Do you think that's a real gamble to bring in someone like J.J. as a coach for a team as big as the Lakers?
Well, it all depends. Him and Bron has a podcast together, so, they probably spending time with each other, talking, picking his brain. And, Bron could have had a podcast with anybody. He respected J.J. Redick's knowledge of the basketball game and his IQ. So that might be something that falls effect into that. We never know. But at the same time, the head coach is the guy that controls the locker room, but you can always hire a top assistant that runs the offense, another top assistant that runs the defense. So, just J.J. Redick would be just the voice and the leader of the whole group. So you never know how that go. And a lot of coaches be first time. We just don't know how that pans out. I never seen J.J. Redick as a coach. I don't know how well he would do. I wish he'd do well if he ever get opportunity to be a head coach. But you just got to wait and see, because nobody never knows.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people were talking about comparing this to Pat Riley, if people don't remember, was like a Lakers announcer and then became an assistant and then took over. And then obviously we knew what happened with Pat Riley. And then also too with like Steve Kerr, he was in the front office of the Suns for a while and then announcer and then, took over that Warriors team.
And you look at Eric Spo.
Spo, yeah.
He was a video guy. And then he come down and look what he's been doing as a hell of a coach. You know what I mean? So those guys that's been around the game, that knows the game, understands the game, has a great IQ, can relate to their players, can get the best out of their players. I think that's the key with a head coach. You know what I mean? Because nowadays, it's not more so a coach's league, it's more so a player's league.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the number one rule is, can the coach still get his players to relate to him and go out there and do the game plan that he has planned for them? And I think once you find that, anybody can be a coach, because that's just the number one start of everything.
Right. Okay, it'll be interesting. Lastly, I wanted to ask you, because you can't go on the internet without not seeing it, the Drake versus Kendrick beef and feud going on right now. So I don't know that much about it. I wanted to ask you, I guess, in NBA terms, can you sort of explain the Jake versus Kendrick beef going on right now?
You could basically look at it as like, imagine two GOATs that people might be debating who's the best GOAT of their era at the time, playing in the NBA Finals. Like we're going at head to head,
Yeah.
and figure out who can win the championship. That's how I would look at it. You know what I mean? Like, or if you look at it like you treat it as an All-Star game. I mean, it's a middle season All-Star game, and you got two of the best players in the league that swear to call themselves the GOAT, and they're competing for it and trying to see which team can win. That's how I kind of look at it. I don't see no other way to look at it, to be honest.
No, it's real. I mean, because it's like, it's funny because like in that Nuggets-Lakers series, they talk about, hey, the Lakers were leading for 70% of it, but the Nuggets won that series. I feel like we're getting into nuances like that where people are being like, you know, Kendrick is winning, but Drake killed him on one track, and that should be, you know, so it's been interesting to see what people, how they validate the reason why there's certain person that they like won.
Yeah, well, also you got to look into the situation. It's the same as when you have this GOAT debate. Is it Jordan? Is it Kobe? Is it LeBron?
Yeah.
Or is it this guy? It all depends on who is that person, who they like better. So, like, somebody might like Kendrick. Somebody might love Drake. It might be people from the West Coast that's going to take Kendrick. That's where he's from. You got people from Toronto or the East Coast that might take Drake. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or if you look at the same time, it's all depending on what type of field you in. You know what I mean? Like, if you go to Atlanta and go to the hood, somebody might call Future the GOAT. They're going to take him over Drake. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it depends on what type of audience you're going to, what type of field you're trying to relate to. So that's how I look at it. Like I said, if you look at Drake, you go to Family Matters. He won like 7 minutes or something, but a lot of people say that right there wins the whole battle.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
But then people come back and say, well, Kendrick redeemed himself after the last track he just dropped compared to Drake last drop. So you all got to base it on what you base it on. You know what I mean? Like, Drake's like a brother to me, you know what I mean? Always been cool with me since UK and stuff. So, you know, I'm always going to be honest. Whoever wins the battle is winning the battle, but I take Drake in the battle, you know what I mean? And it's not just because he's my brother. I just felt like he had the best bars, you know what I mean? But to each his own, everybody going to have their own opinion of who they think won.
Yeah. Lastly on that, good for the game or not?
Great.
Yeah.
It's great. Like, it's great. Like, why not have a little battle here and there, a little beef here, there, a little trash talking here and there.
Yeah.
Spice it up a little bit, you know what I mean? Some people do it because they got albums they about to sell or they about to go on tour, so they want to get the buzz and the fans going a little bit more. But some people really do it just because they might not like each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the personal details, but they might not really like each other.
All right. Yeah, I mean, my wife is bringing it up to me, so that's how I know they're capturing everybody right now's attention. So, all right, well, let's go to a break. When we come back, we're actually going to have one of your former teammates, only played 12 games, but you guys have a history together. Gilbert Arenas is joining us on Point Game, presented by DraftKings. We'll be back. Welcome back to Point Game with John Wall and C.J. Toledano, presented by DraftKings. Now we are joined by three-time NBA All-Star, three-time All-NBA, Agent Zero, or Hibachi himself. I want to know which one you prefer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Gilbert Arenas.
Thank you for having me. It's Agent Zero that had the Hibachi.
Okay. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. Right now I'm in YouTube jail, so I can't go live myself for another 2 days, I think.
What do you mean YouTube jail?
Copyright strikes. During the Laker game, I was playing it in the background, and ESPN gave me the strike on it. Like, man, come on.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you got to be careful with music and playing sports stuff in the background.
I know music for sure. I know music for sure, especially when you drop a mixtape or something.
They do not play.
I mean, Gilbert, we can even start there, man. Like you've in the past few years, you've been kind of killing, the podcast game and the media game. How has it felt? Like, it feels like you settled in. Is your approach the same sort of energy that you were given to the game of basketball for so many years? Do you feel like you're working full time and even working overtime with this?
Yeah, when I first started with 2008, it was just for fun. It was just fun, just more like therapy, right? Getting your voice out. And then I had the 100th episode with Dwayne Wade, And he gave me some great advice. He said, don't go in there as Gilbert Arenas, 3-time All-Star, 3-time NBA, all-NBA player. Go in there as a newbie. So that means you have to study everybody, study what makes the greats greats, and put that type of effort in versus thinking you're Gilbert Arenas and everything should be given to you. So once he said that, I had to sit back, and then I started studying why Stephen A. Smith stayed so long, why Skip Bayless, why Shannon Sharp is on fire. So I had to sit back and watch a lot of content to understand the algorithm of how they were approaching it. And then from there, it's been like a job to me.
Dope.
Wow. That's very interesting there. I like it. That's a good idea. I got to start taking a blueprint from you for sure. My question is one of my questions. Tell me the story why you selected number 0 when you first joined.
All right, so it's kind of like how when you wasn't ranked and you drove down to the camp and then left number 1, right? Mm-hmm. I wasn't a big recruit. Here in the Valley, they called us the white boy players, right? There wasn't there was no mixtapes, there was no real, no social media. So everyone thought I was Mexican because of my name, right? So no one knew, I was black, right? So when they was watching, all the scoring 35, they just thought I was a Mexican kid. So nobody really paid attention to me. Yeah, but I'm serious.
No way.
So when Arizona came through, nobody really thought I was good enough to play there. So when I selected to go there, I was the number 25. Steve Kerr was 25, and they were like retiring at Jersey. So that same summer, or that same year, the number 0 and the number 1 just came available for college, right? So that's when Michigan, Jamal Crawford picked 1. So 1 was getting selected, and I was like, no one thinks I'm going to play any minutes here, so I'm going to just select 0. And then you use that as fuel, and that's how I...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I never knew that. That's very interesting.
I mean, speaking of the 0, I don't know if you noticed, John is rocking that gold jersey, which I think is it's a classic in many ways. Yeah. I mean, you're very self-aware. People roast that jersey. I'm a jersey collector. Mm-hmm. I think it's one of the especially with how jerseys have sort of come out now, they're not that great. But that was some flash. I thought that's a legendary jersey. I wanted to lead that into some of your time with the Wizards. Now, you and John only played 12 games together, but talk a little bit about that time. What was your first reactions to John coming in as a rookie and your time together on the Wizards?
So, with how I exited the year before, right, the locker room stuff, right, going to a halfway house, right, so I decided I'm going to go to Chicago. So I'm going to Chicago, and I'm about to train like a demon, growing my hair, looking through all college basketball to see who's coming, right? And then kept hearing John Wall's name, and I'm like, if the Wizards get the number 1 pick, I'm out of there, for sure, right? So soon as Wizards with the number 1 pick, I'm like, ain't that something? So I was like, all right. So from there, all I'm thinking, all right, it's time for war. So I had my war face on. That's when I grew the beard. I'm like, yeah, I'm not the face. I'm not the face no more. Yeah. So I don't need to appeal nobody. It's time for war. Met him the first day. Shook your hand. Oh man, I'm a big fan of you. The whole Leonardo or Leonidas, the 300, it came down. Right, everything I went into the summer with, right? I'm about whoever coming in for my spot, I'm about to tear them to pieces. And then John was like, "Hey man, I'm a big fan of yours." All of it the wall I built just went down, and I was like, you know what? This is his team. I need to show him before I leave. I need to show him the ropes. This is his team. Let's do it his way. And I just need to fit in and survive. And that was my approach when he came.
That's interesting. I didn't even know all that. When I told him I said I was a big fan, I was just shocked to be in the moment. I was still a kid. Oh, shit, I just got drafted. I'm used to watching Gil play all the time. Hibachi, 80, whatever one you want to call it. hitting game winners, turning around. And then I'm like, damn, I'm in the spotlight. I've been in the back court with him. So it was fun the time we had. Like, he taught me how to be a professional, took care of me in different ways of just helping out, learning how to work out, learning how to be a pro, all those type of things. And he didn't have to do that, you know what I mean? Because he was the face of the team. And he could have said, you know what, F him, I'm going to do it my way. So to have that respect from you and get the love and the appreciation and help you gave me to guide me early on, even though I wish it could have been longer, it was short-lived. Even though we came to Orlando and seen y'all and played, we always went to dinner and did things and had fun. So I would say, like, talk about your time in D.C. Like, what did it mean to you? Because, like, we were so much, both of us is so much big into the community that we adapted to the community and they adapted to us.
When I came, downtown wasn't built. It wasn't built with, like, what you see.
It won't like that?
No. So when I got there, it was in development, but there wasn't really nothing around like that. The movie theater, all that wasn't there. Like Rosa was a Rosa Mexicano, that wasn't there. So they were trying to convince me to stay in DC, but I ended up going to, Virginia. The city embraced me. It was one of those things where after my first year, I remember playing at Berry Farms. And then that's where, like, me coming there every weekend, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm in there playing, just out there just balling. No security, just went out there, just trying to hoop, just trying to find the best hoop in the city because I didn't go back home that summer. So just them seeing me every single weekend, having fun, laughing, standing after watching games, the hood took a hold of me, right? Like, it was crazy because they protected me more than anybody. Like, when I went to the club and let's say something was about to go down, they'll tell, hey, Gil, not tonight. You got a game. We don't want nothing to happen to you. Go ahead and leave. Like, all right.
That's a fact. They definitely will give you the. They will give you the green light. Listen, it's time to go. It's not the time to be in here.
You should be here this late. They be like this. It's time for us to rob people right now. Go ahead and get up out of here. Hey, and John, I got on jewelry like a mug, and it's like, hey, we're about to rob people,
what?
So go ahead and leave. And I'm like, all right. So I was really blessed. I came in a time where, just like you, the city needed a new face, right? Michael Jordan just left. Abe Poland was getting killed for not having Jordan come back. So his thing with me is, get me to the point where no one talks about Michael Jordan and you're protected forever, right? And so when I did get hurt and hurt my knee, none of that mattered. They were telling him he's not worth the money anymore, don't sign him. And it was true. I had already had, 2 knee surgeries at the time, right? So my knee wasn't the same, but Abe was like, he did his part. I told him I was going to protect him. The max is his. So the max came from just the loyalty of Abe Poland. It had nothing to do with, them thinking I was going to be the same player again.
Yeah, well, I think just like you said, you already proved it as a player for one. And then your loyalty, like you said, that's the biggest factor. It's funny because, like, I was talking to Sasha and I was just like, there's always a debate about, is it Gil or is it John that, like, had DC? And I'm like, it's kind of hard to say because we both had so much love. But even before I got there, I heard, like, you would pull up in the Maybach, park it, leave the keys in there. Like, but a lot of people be scared to go to Berry Farms. Like, that's not the area to go to by yourself with no security. So for you to go play, that was dope. Me, I didn't play, but I went and watched games all day, and I'd be there all night just watching. And I played in some of the good leagues, the indoor gyms. But just having that embrace for the city is what you want, man. Like I said, I think a lot of people think we were just so authentic. Like, we didn't go in and try to fake it to be something. We just was being ourselves. So to get that love from the city is always dope. Because I know you went back, and I know it was amazing to go back. Like,
it was. Hey, listen, I ain't gonna lie. I was scared. Dog. I was dreading that, man. It was like, I think more because I felt like I let the people who had me on this pedestal down, right? Not necessarily fans, just, the Sashias, all the people inside the organization. It feels like I failed them, and I was afraid to see their face again, right? So that was more of the fear factor. So when I got there and some of those faces that were still around are smiling, welcome back, it kind of let that guard off. And I was like, man, let me just enjoy the moment, seeing everybody face again. So it was really a blessing for me. And yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
Staying with those early times, just as kind of like a what if, because I've heard John say on this pod and in interviews that it was a lot of pressure for you, John, to be like, you didn't have that veteran early on. Like, you were the face of the franchise. You were dealing with a lot of losing. So just as like the what if, like what would it have been like to have Gilbert and Gil for you too, to be that veteran and mentor for an extended period of time for John? Is there a way that you guys could have made it work, that you can turn those, into some wins and have a little bit more chemistry over there?
To be honest, I think it was, just to be honest, my mindset then, right? I don't think I would have been a great mentor and a great player for him, right? I was still battling the aftermath of what happened, right? It kind of took me a few years to really fall in love with basketball again. So being a player and a mentor wouldn't have worked for him. I had to be either one. Right, so it would have had to step away from the basketball part and then just teach him the ropes of, team meetings, getting to the gym early, understanding personalities, right? Understanding, when I was there, I got the Sean Stevenson who clubbed a lot, right? So getting the coaches to understand this is his thing, this is his vice. You can't penalize him for the 3, 4, 5 in the morning coming into the hotel. Let him do him. He'll be ready for the game, right? Everyone is not the same. That's what I would have had to teach him, to understand different personalities, looking at, watching somebody walk inside that locker room if they're ready to play today, right? If they're going through something mental, right? Looking at somebody on the court or, sitting on the bench, if he's ready to be called in on. Somebody who hasn't played for 3 weeks, but he got that itch today. Hey, coach, try him out. Let's see if he got some today. Or someone who don't have it, say, hey, coach, it ain't his day today, right? Go ahead, pull a plug early on him, right? He ain't got to sit up. He got something going on with him, right? Those are the things I had to really understand early, because I had Antoine, Karan, and Larry Hughes. See, I had veterans that kind of showed me the ropes, even though I was the wild thing. Right, so I wasn't really a great vet, because when I became a real veteran, I was hurt. So I'm showing the young boys the party side of the NBA versus the work ethic of the NBA. So he came at the wrong time of me, right? Right? He would have had to come in like 2005, 6, right? That time, or...
And I was in middle school at that time.
Or 2012, 13, right? When I got when I knew basketball was over for me. So when I got to Memphis, I was a better vet to Pargo and Josh Shelby.
So you said you fell in love back with the game because you felt like it was coming to an end.
No. I felt back into the game when you guys were in the playoffs. When y'all was playing, when Paul Pierce got there, and y'all
talking about the year before or the second year? The first year we played the Bulls.
Y'all was playing Toronto.
You talking about the second year when Paul came in 2015? Yeah, 2015 we swept them.
Yeah, so that's when I became a fan again, like a real basketball fan. Yeah, I came. I watched the thing.
Damn, that's
I had my Obama chair. I'm sitting in my Obama chair, and I'm sitting there rooting for the guys again. I'm like, this was the feeling.
But that's dope though. Like, you broke it down. Like, everybody's different. You know what I mean? Like, I had it his way. You know what I mean? Like, he can go party and go get you 40. Like, everybody have it their way. Some guys, like you said, might come in. I can yell at this guy in front of everybody. Then I might have to just sit down and talk to this guy during a timeout where everybody not hearing it. And just been around like guys like you, Kurt Heinrich, you know what I mean, Al Thornton, then been around like Drew Gooden, Al Harrington, Trevor Ariza, Nene, those guys like Paul Pierce, just learning so many different ways to be able to do it. But like you said, it all depends on what spot you was in your mindset in your career. Cause like we both been through a lot of injuries and had injuries, and like you be frustrated, like damn, I know I can still hoop. Oh, I should be in this spot. but at the same time, it might not be your time. So you got to be able to take the back seat and willing to move forward with it. But I wish it would have been a time like where Gil could have still been Gil. That would have been amazing backcourt. But at the same time, if he was that, I don't think I'd get drafted there. You know what I mean? Even though I probably was the best player to be drafted at the time, if Gil was still Gil, they go a different route because you don't need a point guard. You have your franchise guy that's still there and still healthy, playing at a high level.
You know what I think they would have probably it depends, right? If we're healthy and it was between you and Evan Turner, right?
Turner.
So he was more of a shooting guard and a playmaker, right? Now, I'm pretty sure we would have still went with you because it's no different than with me and Larry Hughes, right? You know, we were both 1-2s. So most likely you would have been the 1 and I would have just ran a 2 where I get to shoot all the shots, right?
That's what we was basically trying to do for our 12 games anyway. I mean, we went to LA, you had 30 when you had the Dolce & Gabbana shoes on. I was like, this guy's crazy. He had no shoestrings. I was like, he's not about to play with ankle socks and no shoestrings and strap these shoes. And went out there and got 30. So we had our moments, and it was definitely fun before you left. So my question is for you. You had a one-on-one game between Agent Zero and Hibachi. I know you said what you said earlier. Who winning? Agent Zero and Hibachi.
Between me and you?
No, you Agent Zero versus your Habachi. Because Agent Zero is different from Habachi. So you got to figure out who's going to win between that matchup. You thinking,
And break down those different, those alter egos.
I'll probably say see, it depends. Okay, who gets the ball first? Because look, so who gets the ball first? So like
that's at any one-on-one. That's the biggest key about anything. Who get the ball first, especially if you're not trying to play no defense.
Okay, Agent Zero was like it was a person, right? It was a person. It was who I was, right? So that was like 95% of the game. I was Agent Zero. And then the moments when you can't be stopped, that's when I was in Hibachi mode, right? The last 5 minutes, the 18 straight points in a row, I'm in Hibachi time, right? But the funny part is, Hibachi was the funnier one. When I was Hibachi, I was funnier because I know you can't stop me in this moment. That's what I'm doing. All the trash talking. That was that guy where I'm just ignorant for no reason. I'm hitting 3 in a row. I'm sitting there doing this shit. I can't feel my face, right? I'm sitting there. I'm more in play mode. It's more like the Joker style for him.
That's
That's
tough.
a great answer.
But like this is ignorant, but it's not because you can't stop me. So what you want me to do? Get in that mode. It's like, okay, I know you can't stop me. You can try everything you want.
Like Anthony Edwards when he was talking to KD. That was Hibachi time.
That's Hibachi. That's his Hibachi mode. Because he was calling for the ISO like, I want this. Like, I know you can't stop me.
What play did you have, either your rookie year or your second year, when you knew I'm him? There's always that one play.
You know the funny part is, it's the second game. Remember my second game we played in Atlanta? After we got whooped in Atlanta on TNT. I go to Atlanta, and I'm having a great game, and I was like, I belong. But I tell you, my real first game was that first home game when I dug you.
Yeah. Is that the live
that was preseason. That was preseason. But it was that game because I almost had a quadruple double. I got mad because I think you had 9 steals, and I had 9 steals, and I could have got one more steal, and I was tired as hell, and nobody told me about it. But that's when I knew I belonged in the NBA. Like, I found my moment because I really wanted to go at Evan Turner because when he checked in, he was like, y'all picked the wrong guy. Yeah. And I was like, okay, like, I'm going to show you. Because I never got to play him in college. He's a great player, but I never got to play him in college. And when I had that big game and we won, I was like, all right, I belong. Like, I realized I belonged here. Because my first NBA game was tough, because Dwight Howard, I won't get into the rim. He's blocking every fucking thing. He's young, athletic, and I won't shoot in the mid-range as well at the time. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to score. I remember my first basket, I did a Euro step in transition, he goaltended. I was like, this is a weak ass first basket. It got gold to it. But yeah, my first home game is when I felt like I belonged in the NBA.
Yeah, there's usually like when you're playing, there's usually like plays, right? You'll do something just out of body, and then you be like, "Oh, I'm him." Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I split a pick and roll, and I remember Thaddeus Young tried to take a charge, and I slid out the way, and I got an and one. I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm here. I still can do some of the shit I can do. But back then I was explaining, and you could break down this too, like it was so much, like if you play in this area, I think you would have a field day. You can't hand check. It's all space and a lot of shooting. Don't take nothing wrong with these players. These players are fucking talented. They're great. Every kid's getting better. Well, when I came in, it was two actual bigs. You come across the lane, you getting chucked. Like I remember early in the year, we played Indiana, and Jeff Foster hit me. Man, I got up like I want to do something. Like, listen, he ain't the one to do that with. I was like, fuck. I was like, damn. So it's like the physicality is just so much more different than what it was when we had to play, and you really had to be able to knock down mid ranges, knock down floaters, and learn how to play.
Yeah, you know, I think we lose the tough big, but it's more height throughout, right? Because now you might have a 7 footer at the small forward now, right? So everyone's longer and more athletic, right? So the hole is open, it closes, and it's like back then when you went, you had to do a lot more dodging. Here it's a lot more flying, right? So when you're coming, you're looking more up versus body to body. Right. So it's a different game, but it's still the same game. If you're talented, you're talented. Right? Nothing changes.
For sure.
The speed demons is going to kill. The more athletic guards now are going to be more dominant. Easier to get assists. Right? The way your IQ, your vision, you're averaging 15 easy. Because
for sure.
If you look at the James Harden and Westbrook, right? If they're considered ball hogs and they're leading the league in assists, what happened to the guys who attack like that but passed? Right? Usually, like Lonzo Ball is a passer, right? He's not a shot creator, right? That's very different. You were a shot creator. So someone who actually got in, the defense collapsed, then you made the pass, right? That's what James Harden does, but he does more scoring too. So it's like, well, damn, what if like John Wall really played now? He would average 15 assists. Because
shit, I had what? I think in my 20 minutes, one game with the Clippers, I had like 15 assists, 14 assists in 20 minutes.
It becomes easier because everybody has to stop the penetration. Now you got a lot more 3-point shooters with you.
Just like Luka. Luka, he's creating for people. He's scoring. And if you help, he's finding guys. They knock it down shots.
Yeah, that's what I said. It makes it look like they're doing a lot more than the past, but it's not. Because if Luka had a big man, if he had Tim Duncan, there's no pick and roll pop. It's get him on the block. He gonna pass it. Get out of there. He gonna score his 25. You get 0 assists for those 25.
And you don't have a lob threat. If you don't have a lob threat, it's like I'm not throwing lobs. So yeah, you have guys that really post up. Now he's the most guy posting up on their team, so it changes the whole dynamic of it.
I love this topic because one question I've always had about seeing, the careers of like D Rose and Westbrook and the hurdles of like the injuries, and you guys haven't gone through injuries. Do you think that would there be a different way you guys would have approached your career, knowing speed and like that the hard stops and all that? Do you think you would approach your career differently as the guards you were to add longevity to your career in today's game?
What I would do different is I wouldn't try to prove that I was hurt. That's a thing we do. We're not fully healthy. We want to play, and we want to show everybody, look, I'm out here hurt playing for the team, right? Which at the end of the day, if we're not 100%, we're doing ourselves a disjustice because they're judging us on 100%. They don't care. Like Embiid on his knee, we don't care if you out there lobbing. We don't care if your eye twitching. Are you giving 36 and 15? That's it. So for me, I would have actually got 100, took my time, rehabbing, and really attacked the rehab versus trying to hurry up and get back and say, I'm an all-star, I need to get back to my place.
I agree. That's one thing I always say is, like, I played through bone spurs in my heel, bone spur in my knee. Yeah, I feel like I live by like AI code. If it ain't broke, I can play through it. That's what I live by. Like you said, you want to play. I remember like my first year, I had a Liz Frank injury. I'm like, damn, I got to come back sooner. I come back soon. I don't score no points in the first half. I'm damn near limping the whole game. And like, why am I out here? It's like you want to play, like you want to prove like I'm still the person I am. But I wish I would have did that, took time off, got 100%. But also, I think now like you got so many guys that have trainers that we didn't have growing up. Like I didn't have a guy that can do weightlifting and agility work right now and all this new technology and stuff they have. We didn't have that when I first came in. Like guys come in rookie, they got their own trainer to go with them to their team. Like I wasn't thinking about that.
When you got there, we was balling. We was balling. When you got there, we was balling. We had we finally got like breakfast and a little bit of lunch, right? We had breakfast and a little bit of lunch. We had Drew, but we also had like at least 3 people on the medical staff. When I first got that, no, we didn't get food until probably a year and a half before you got there. Like the first person I ever got food from as a road team was Cleveland, LeBron.
Oh, I talked about that earlier. I said when he was in Miami, you know, they had the special meal that you had here. When he left and I came back, I said, "Yo, can I order?" They said that shit ain't here no more. Bron gone.
Like LeBron James fed the road team. When I was in Cleveland, like we got a spread. I'm like, "Oh, thank you, coach. Finally." It's like, nah, that's what Cleveland doing. Yeah.
Damn, I thought y'all was getting taken care of the whole time.
Listen, the Clippers, when you got there, the Clippers didn't even have a practice facility. They was practicing at the YMCA. Yes, they were practicing.
I remember
they was practicing at the YMCA. They didn't have a practice facility yet. Like they got that like Blake's 3rd year. That's how
That's interesting.
That's how far it came. Like we didn't even have like who was the shooting coach with you when you got there? Oh, okay.
They didn't have no shooting coach.
Okay.
It was Sam. It was remember it was like we would be working out and then they'd be like, all right, coaches got film. I'm like, damn, so who gonna rebound? It's like, so now it's like you got to get another young guy to try to rebound. You rebound for yourself. I think I didn't get player development until probably my 3rd or 4th year. Like I think we had hired David Atkins. David Atkins because they was trying to get Kevin Durant and he had coached at Maryland. So David Atkins had came and be one of our player development guys. And then we had Joe Conley.
Okay, Joe. Okay.
He came from Baltimore. He came like that was the first development guys we had probably my 3rd, 4th year.
Now you see how far the game has changed because now if you
for sure. But I'll be like this, like people like y'all ain't getting better. I'm like, well, who the hell we getting better with? We working ourselves out. Like unless we flying our trainer in, like who is working us out right now?
That, right? Because like Eric and all of them, it was a clash on outside guys coming inside, right? So there was this big war of development. Like NBA, the team wanted so much control. Like, yo, I'm getting better with this dude. Bring him in, pay him. He can train us, which didn't happen back then. So I didn't really understand how to work out until like I was fortunate after my rookie year. Chris Mullen used to be in the gym working out. So he taught me how to train as a professional. But for the most part, there was no coaches. We rebounded ourselves. We got to do I was paying a high school kid to come work out with me, rebound for me. And he ended up going to Villanova, and I had to call a Villanova coach. Can he be a ball boy? This is what he did for me. And he ended up being a ball boy for Lowry and who was the other guard? Randy Ford.
Randy Allen Ray?
Yeah, so,
Randy Ford?
Yeah, so he was their rebounding. He was their rebounding kid.
That's dope. They were so strict though. Even in the summertime when I went to LA to work out, because that's where my agent lived, Dan Fagan, they was telling me I couldn't work out with certain guys. I'm like, what? How y'all gonna control who the hell I can work out with? I'm like, they don't like this guy. They don't like that guy. Because I was lifting with Gunnar Peterson at the time, and they was like, no, we don't want you working with him. It ain't working.
What?
I'm like, so who y'all going to hire me to work
Nobody.
with then? Like, it's the summertime.
Yeah.
So it was interesting.
While I
So I got.
John, you
Go ahead.
I would just,
Go ahead, CJ.
I'm curious. We got both you guys here, and I think we can have an honest conversation. I'd love to hear how you guys would fix the current Wizards.
Woo! Yeah, you know what's so funny?
Big
You know what's so
question.
funny? I went back, John. When was the last time he was there?
I went back last year when I played with the Clippers when I had my homecoming.
Did you see the practice facility? I mean, no.
Yes, I was there. Remember, I was there when they built
okay.
it. I was there.
Okay.
Yes, I was there.
went
Yeah.
To the practice, so they had.
You know where it's at?
But I went to the practice court, and it was a VIP.
It's like a
It was like
casino
a VIP
type.
section, and that just like that irritated me as an athlete. And the reason is this: the practice facility is the practice facility, right? Okay. When you come to the arena, and this is where we play the game at, where is the court where we get to warm up? It can't be the main court because everybody's out there. So how do I actually get my 300, 400 reps up before the game? And so I'm sitting in here just like, how dare they? Like, I'm offended. Like, how dare they? How do you get better before the game? Or you had a bad game and you want to sit in the gym and get the shots up and go to the small gym and get your 100, 200. Why do I got to go all the way to the practice facility? So there was like these little things that it's just like, I will fix that.
Well, not, and they like, you got to get there. If the game at 7, they want you to get there at 2 or 3 to get your 300,
Oh, they
400
won't.
shots up. That's the only time you're going to be able to get them up.
Really early.
Because I was like, sometimes before I went on the main court, because there's always somebody else shooting the same time you shoot. So I'm like, damn, he fucking up my rhythm. I'm shooting the ball, hitting the ball. So I would go down there and work out sometimes, like get reps up. But like once they started changing, I'm like,
Yeah, that
oh,
wouldn't happen when I was over there. Like, y'all gonna have to put them somewhere else. Y'all gonna have to put them somewhere else. I don't care where.
No, the problem. The crazy part was they did that during the summertime. So when we came into season, when we started going to preseason games, going over there, it was already done. Like you go open the door and go down the street, like, oh shit,
wow.
never mind. It's like everybody was
Like,
down
right.
there. But they got a new front office though, so like for them, really, I think they got to figure out who's going to be their franchise guy. You know what I mean? Like when you get a new front office, they got to make the changes of what they want to do with coaches and all that. But they got to find the franchise guy and find a foundation and how to build around him. That's
And
the key
right now
for them.
they don't have one. I mean, Kuzma's their best player right now, but on a really good team, was he third option? Yeah, third, fourth option. As of right now. So right now it's one of those things is they have to be careful because he is the lead dog, and at some point when his contract's up, he's going to be looking for big money, and you're not going to be able to pay him if you're looking for your franchise and his Batman, because right now he's not Robin. He can be Robin until you find a real Robin. He's really that third guy that you're like, he's a better Tobias Harris. You know what I mean? But you do need a Maxey and a Embiid, to get over there to really build your team with. So they really have to find that guy.
Yeah, and I think Jordan Poole would be a great 6-man for them if they end up keeping him. I think he'd be a great 6-man for them. But like he's paid so much, he's like, I want to be the guy.
Yeah,
and I think he realized early on, like it's a lot different when you don't have Steph and Clay and those guys over there, and you are the main priority that everybody's locking in on.
And his game ain't number one option. His game ain't number 2 option. He has such a flashy style of, I need to be a highlight every time I play. When number 1 and number 2 option, majority of their points is simple basketball. The flash is like open court flash, right? Or just an instinct move. But for the most part, I'm just trying to get to the spot, get this bucket, get the 2. You score 20, all those 10 buckets can't be Sports Center type of, right? That's for when you come up with.
No, for sure. We're not at Rucker Park right now. Every dribble, like,
That's what it
golly.
is.
You tiring yourself out by the time you make the 4th basket. You got no
3
energy
spins,
left.
Yeah.
up and under.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but
So Gil, you got two dynamic young ballers. Your daughter, I mean, she just had her senior night and she committed to Louisville, and then you have your son that's on that. So how do you keep them well grounded and motivate them to want to get to the work ethic they have that you have and to be special at this sport, knowing they have your last name, they got a lot to live up to? I know that can be pressure, and how do you handle that all at one time?
I do a lot of like sending them other people, right? There's only so much I can say, right? Before, like I watch other kids and their parents, and you get tuned out, right? So I'll show them a lot of people's clips and them working out and how they're working out, right? And then it's like, you don't want to be this type of person, right? They're looking back saying, Dan, I wish I would have did some more, right? You don't want to be a trainer when you're done, meaning he learned to be great once he realized he couldn't be a basketball player anymore. Once he didn't take, so your trainer is a guy, these moves you have, or he's teaching you, he never actually used them because he learned them once he was done and like, damn, I missed it. So let me train the next generation. You don't want to be that dude. You want to really say, all right, this is what I want. I had to tell my kids the other day, I said, listen, give me 5 things you want to do, right? NBA, whatever. After you write them down, give me 5 sacrifices you are willing to give me to get there. They still haven't figured out the sacrifices yet.
I was about to ask that. They probably still trying to figure that part out.
You will not get to this if you are not sacrificing for this. I said right now, you guys think y'all can still watch TV for 8 hours, be on your phone with your girlfriend and all. Nah, that don't exist, dog. I said right now, I'm 42. You can't outshoot me every morning. I said I wake up 5:30. Before I take y'all to school, before I wake you up, I've already got my shots up. If me and you were trying to make it to the NBA, dog, you cannot get past me. I said, when you fall in love with it, you will understand me. Right now, you're just gifted and you have me as a trainer. I said, that's your benefit. You have me as your trainer, right, to wake you up and do this. But I shouldn't wake you. You should be waking me up. When you start waking me up, I know you love it. Right now, you just like the sport. Right? So my daughter works out more. My son works out harder. Right? When he do lock in, he's locked in. Right? So I don't have to like with my daughter, I have to micromanage the workout. Like, come on, dog. Like, come on, man. We be here. There ain't how many water breaks we need. You trying to be a professional water drinker? The only time you drink water is when you're on the bench. So, I mean, you perfected that for sure, being on the bench. You know how to drink some water, right? my son, I can give him a program. He gonna look at the program and he gonna work it till he's dead.
I know. I seen he had like 53 or 52 to get to the state championship game, right? Yeah, I'll be watching. I was like, when I started sitting windmill, I'm like,
about
what the
6'7". So he's 6'7" long. Like he hurt his foot, right? He got just a regular ass ankle sprain, ankle swelled up. And I told him, I said, hey, you better take care of this. If you don't take care of it, you're gonna miss USA, right? And you're gonna miss the rest of your summer, right? Or with your traveling team. He thought I was playing. It's been about a month now. His mother put him in a boot. I mean, not put him in a boot, put him in a cast. And I said, hey, you wear a cast, you're going to lose your calf muscle and all this for 2 weeks. The man cut it off. He got so paranoid, cut the boot off. I mean, cut the, what's the name off? And put the boot on. Now he locked in to get that swelling out. And I said, yeah, man. I said, yo, when I tell you something, just understand, I'm going to tell you it, and then you're going to have to learn for yourself. You're going to have to learn for yourself because at the end of the day, I can't protect you from it. I'm trying to give you the straight and narrow. Like, these are the things, these are the pitfalls. But some of them holes you got to fall in and understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, you ain't there. You ain't there yet. Like you ain't there yet. You right now is they got their little hoop there and they're playing. It's
Oh, mine's 5-3. He the oldest loves soccer. He got his last soccer game tomorrow. So
yeah.
So, but I'm just like, for me, like you said, like I'm not forcing him to do anything. You know what I mean? Like whatever you tell me you want to do, Figure it out. You want to play all these sports? I'm signing you up for them. Let you fall in love with what you fall in love with. But every day he like, man, where the trainer? He's not coming today. Well, take me outside for 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, keep this same shit up. Cause I come in here and just chill and watch me some shows.
But when you start training them and you really start like diving in, understand you can't be the coach and the parent. Don't be both at the same time, right? You have to really understand. That is going to be the biggest thing for you. Understanding the trainer is when he's not playing. You're training him, right? That means you get to do all the yelling. When the training's over, the father kicks in. Ain't no more trainer. Father's in. What you want to eat, what you want to do. When you're watching the game, you're watching it as the parent. Enjoying the moment.
Oh, that's how I be. Ain't gonna lie. I got so many videos. I'm running down the sideline. My son was playing the air exposure kids the other week. He was like, which one your kid? He was like, oh, never mind. He's the fastest one out here. I can tell. Like right now, he just kicked the ball. He take off past everybody.
I'll do no yelling.
No, at the game, I just tell him, have fun. Have fun. I be like, you ain't gonna score every week, but have fun. Cause you know, right now he's scoring 2-3 goals a week. I'm like, shit, the older you get, this shit don't work like this in soccer. Basketball, you can score a lot. In soccer, you might not score in the game. So I'm gonna take him to a Messi game tomorrow. So he'll be excited for his first game.
Gil, are you playing ones? Are you playing ones against Elijah?
Yeah, I still play ones. Yeah. What?
And are you still winning them? Or
yeah, because it's one dribble. One dribble.
Okay.
2 dribble, he got me. One dribble, I just pump fake, do all this, do all that. Then if I miss it, foul. You know. I'm cheating still, right?
Hey, we had this debate the other day with my homeboys. We like 3 dribbles. You know what I mean? People want to play one-on-one. I'm not playing 10. We do 3 dribbles max, man. Like, nobody about to be running around chasing you.
2 dribbles, 1 dribble. Like, that's what I do. Like, 3 dribbles, 2 dribbles, 1 dribble, and then we play no dribbles. Where you have to learn. You have to get creative with it. He's so creative that I have to, like, make him play simple basketball. Like, he'll be Jordan Poole if you let him. Like, he want the triple team. Like, he want to play through triple teams and stuff like that. And I'd be like, and I'd be telling him, like, do not get bored scoring baskets. Like, so I'll be like, when we do drills, it's 100 makes. And I count, I'm like, all right, 1-2 pull up, right? Just 1-2 pull up. And I'm just counting to see how many reps before his brain decides he want to add a little bit of his own little flavor to it. And
side step, between the legs.
Like, yo, simple. Stop. I don't care how bored you are. You should never be bored with scoring a bucket. Like, you don't have.
Yeah, that's why they always say you should never get tired after making. You ain't tired when you making shots.
If you can't stop me getting to the basket, I'm not stopping myself by doing a double step back. I'm gonna keep getting it. Lay up, shoot it, lay up.
That's how I was in high school. I said, I ain't shooting shit. You can't stop me from getting to the rim. Well, I waste my time for it. Like, no.
I'll let you know when I'm tired of scoring that layup. When you sitting under the basket trying to block me, all right, then I do a floater. But I'm not gonna just settle because you want me to. Yeah,
you want me to.
That's not how we do this.
So off topic, last night game 6 is Pacers Bucks and Sixers Knicks. How have you think the playoffs have been going on?
First round. There's no real true upset. But there's no real upset. But the Orlando Cavs, that could have went anywhere. Yeah, either way. Miami, I didn't think they were gonna get beat by 20 every game. I didn't know that. Like, I was like, ooh, I thought you were gonna have a little bit more fight in you. I'm not surprised by the Knicks because Embiid was hurt. I really didn't think he was gonna last all the games. Right, that was one thing. I didn't think he was gonna last up all the games, so that is surprising. Pacers, Bucks, when Giannis went down, there was really no chance. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't really think that.
Yeah, injury. Once the injury, like that type of player that can change the whole series and would be the best player in that series, changes the whole dynamic.
Especially since Doc didn't really put in his his flavor into the offense. I didn't see them getting out of that. And then, like, even with whoever won between the Knicks and Philly, they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals
Interesting. You don't give Pacers a chance.
against New York
Yeah.
because
Siakam has to play. Only way they have a chance, Siakam has to
and
play out his
the
mind.
sad part is Embiid and Maxey played out of their minds. Two stars played out of their minds, and they didn't win that series. So Siakam, what are you going to average, 60? You had two dudes averaging 50. You had two dudes averaging 50 and lost that series. So if they're going to try to outspeed, they're going to try to outspeed New York. New York want to play that. They can play that style.
Yeah.
You know, they like Tibbs like half-court basketball because that benefits Brunson, but they can go up and down with you, right? The only thing that benefits Pacers is Tibbs play only 7. And those two off the bench only played about 10 to 15 minutes. So he's going to play two people at least 40, 45 plus. If you can get New York playing 7 games like that, you can probably sneak that series from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to get tired at some point. Yeah.
Gil,
Because the pace is going about 10 deep, 11 deep.
Gil, staying on playoffs, but going back to your career, 06 playoff series against LeBron. Can you talk about what it was like playing against LeBron, early LeBron, 3 years in LeBron, in the playoffs?
Okay, so we was more talented than them. Hands down, hands down. We was the better team. What we didn't realize until after the series how smart he was as a player, right? Understanding what people are finding out now, like he remembers everything, right?
Yeah.
Didn't know he had that motor mentally then, right? So watching like little signals, like I'm watching again, like how did we lose to them? Like, and I'm watching like little signals, him biting his nails, like giving little signals to the coach, like take this player out, right? Take your Gauskas out, and then we take a Gauskas out. Like, what do we need him for? Like a Gauskas out, we take Brendan out. We went small. He drove the basketball. Him and Larry attacked. And he was playing decoy at the beginning of the game and then turned into Mr. James. And that's what ended up happening. He was just outsmarting us, and we didn't pick up on it. But him, we tried everything. I'm not even going to lie. All right, we're just going to make him a passer, right? He passed and scored still, right? All right, we just going to let him score and cut. We're not going to help. He scored and still passed, right? But it was that we was like the first group of teams that realized he was really unselfish. No matter if you left this guy open, he was going to pass it to that guy. Right? He will, like, we're loading up for the Kobe Bryant mentality. Like, all right, pass it to him. He passed it. Like, oh, we didn't really think you were going to pass it there. And he made the right plays. Right? And a lot of people back then, if you was a superstar, you made the play for you. You didn't make the Magic Johnson play. You didn't make this is the right play. He was making the right play in that series.
Okay, well, how about you? How about you in Game 6? You hit that deep 3. What was going through your mind when you took that shot?
Oh, I was already talking trash. Oh, now Habachi was on. Yeah, Habachi was on. Like I'm telling you, hey, I'm hitting this 3. So whoever's on me is on SportsCenter. Right, whoever's on, I'm talking to Larry. Whoever's on me is SportsCenter today, right? And you know them both talking trash, and then I set the pick, and they got mixed up on the switch, and then it was a Flip Murray that popped out, but I was already in motion, right? They hit it, went to overtime, and then overtime I gassed out, went to that free throw line. To be honest, when I watched the free throws back, I don't know what happened. I heard what he said, but none of it mattered. We're up 1, game over. And my mind just went blanked. Like, even when you look at the misses, you're like, whoa. Like, oh, you fixing the game?
There's some bullshit going on.
Did the rim just move? Like, it was one of those where after I missed it, we lost. The only thing that popped in my head was Nick Anderson in the Orlando series, missing the free throws. And I said, I cannot be him. My career cannot be these free throws, and I think about this every time. So I heard Kobe was dealing with a dude that was black ops for his mental, right? Keeping him mentally strong. Called the dude, went down to San Francisco, and was training with him.
Wow.
Yeah, for some free throws, dog. I had to go get the mental.
Yeah, well, you trying to stay mentally locked in. Trying to stay mentally locked in.
Yeah. Basketball is all
so
mental.
what you think? Yeah, for sure it is. For sure it is. What you think about the growth of the WNBA right now, like the way it's going?
I think it's great for the game. You know, they could have had this growth 10 years ago, right? They could have had it with Candace Parker. They could have had it with Taurasi when she first came in. You know, so they could have had it with Sabrina, with all that. I think they're missing the moments, right? When those moments and those players come in, you have to strike, right? Right now they have a moment, right? They have 3 out of 5. So that 2020 class, or 4, the 2020 class, there's 1 that's still playing. 4 came into the draft, right? Paige Becker stayed back. This is when they should do a one and done rule. Now. Do it now. Why Juju's there, why Becker's there, why you still have some momentum. Right now you have the Olympics coming up. I heard they had a statement. The statement said, you know, we're going to use her training camp as her tryout. You know, it's not fair to some of the girls. That's fair. Fair goes out of the window. This is about survival. This is about your future. This is about the WNBA brand. If she's not on that team, no one's watching you. One, it's a big time difference. No one watches anyway. If she's there, all of college basketball, all of her fans are watching the USA games because of her. Those jerseys that's going to be sold, she's going to compete. Her jersey is going to compete with some of the men. If she's not on there, the only jerseys that's going to be being sold is Fever. So it's up to you guys, the Olympic team. If you have her, that boosts you guys up. If you don't, Fever. So if you miss this moment, it only hurts you. You need to milk this, like NBA milked Michael Jordan, like they make Magic and when Magic and Bird came on, they played to it. Magic and Bird, the first 2 television, the first TV games, Boston Lakers. They took that college rivalry and milked it in the NBA until Jordan came. You have to. You know, you have to. That's what you have to do. Marquee matchups. It's her versus, it'll be Sky because Reese is over there. So you use that matchup. And then Taurasi says something. You use that matchup. And these are how you build. You have to build rivalries. The WNBA don't have them yet. Her and Sabrina. Make fake pages and have them talk trash against each other.
Do something, right?
Make it a rivalry. So male fans need rivals. We need a bad guy and we need a good guy. We need someone to root for. And that's what the sport don't have. They're thinking like family friendly. Rival, where it at? LeBron versus Curry, where it at?
That's why people couldn't wait till till where LSU played Iowa last year. After they lost in that championship, they couldn't wait for that game again. They should have made one in the regular season. I mean, like you just said, like having those type of rivals, you should have made one in the regular season. It would have made everybody tune in.
I would have put it in Iowa. I would put it in Iowa at the biggest arena we can get.
They should have played. They should have played at the football field like they did at one of their games. They sold out the football arena. They should have put the LSU game there.
That's what I'm saying. But I would have put it back to back. I would have had there and then at LSU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you made sense. The rivals. That's what we want to see, though. That's like, bro. It's like, hey, you talk trash. Okay, you trying to duck this tournament?
Yeah.
All right, we meeting here.
I don't know who's the marketing behind it, but just watch rap, watch reality TV, and take these storylines. Take the storylines and implement them into your league to make it exciting. That's the viewership for reality TV is it. Take those storylines and put them in. You know what reality did? They used to take the storylines from shows back in the 80s. Nobody knew that. Like I Love Lucy episodes and stuff like that. They were taking those episodes and making them put them in reality TV. That's
it. That's wild. That's interesting.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate you, Gil. Check out Gil's Arena and all of your channels going right now. We'll be back on Point Game with me and John, presented by DraftKings. Welcome back to Point Game with John Wall and C.J. Toledano, presented by DraftKings. It's time for Bucket or Brick. As a reminder, Bucket or Brick is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook is your home for all things NBA action, from player props to same-game parlays. Check out everything DraftKings Sportsbook has to offer to make your NBA experience even sweeter. The crown is yours. John, you know how to play Bucket or Brick, so we're going to get right into it. All right, this first one, Thunder Mavs series. So the Thunder are only slightly favorites over the Mavs in the series at minus 115. So if you bet 115, you'd win $100. So Bucket or Brick, the Thunder are going to beat the Mavs in this series.
I got the Mavs in this series.
Okay.
I love the Thunder, though. I love the way they coaches been coaching those young guys. I love the way Shea has been a great leader for those guys. And he just gets those guys that play the level you probably didn't think they're a super young team to be connected as they are and play the way they are. They're a special group. I just think it's not their time yet. I could be wrong, but I'll take the Mavs in this series just because of how dominant Luka and Kai is. You know what I mean? Like Kai the other day, 2 points at half, go get 28 in the second half at any moment. And I just like the role pieces they added to their team. You know what I mean? Giving them a lob threat when you got Luka. That's being able to get into the paint and Kai. So I take the Mavs in this one.
Who would you say is so it's a brick, but who would you say is the best player in this series between all those guys that you just mentioned?
The best player?
Yeah. You got Kai, Luka.
Yeah, it's
Shea.
tough, bro. Like,
yeah.
You got two guys that should be top 5 in the league right now, if I'm not mistaken, between Luka and Shea for sure. And I just feel like Kai's the most skilled basketball player. You know what I mean? To be the size he had to score at will, every shot, floaters, post up, mid range, threes, off the dribble, layup package. It's a tough one.
I would say Shea.
I would say Shea is probably the best player, but I think the Mavs have two players that could be top 5 or top 10 in the league at any point. And I think that just gets him over the hump because the young guy, Jalen Williams, is coming into his own. Very talented, coming into his own. Check, very talented, coming to his own. I just think those two guys. And then Kai, having experience, has been there before, like been to the championship before, know what it takes to win it. And I think that gets him over the hump.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many of these series and games come down to that last 2 minutes. And who have we seen hit game winners? I mean, Kai probably hit one of the craziest, most important shots of the last 10 years. So, yeah, I like how you said
Yeah,
Kai.
for sure. That shot in the 2016 finals is probably the biggest shot in finals, probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, shit, all three of those guys got a lot of game winners. I mean,
Yeah.
Shea got a lot.
Yeah.
Luka has some. You know, Kai has his. So I think it should be a fun series, a great battle.
Yeah.
Just got to wait and see.
Okay. All right, next one. Here's a guy that actually I forgot about. I don't know how, but Donovan Mitchell. You know, they closed out, had an incredible game in Game 7 last night against the Magic. So, bucket or brick, Donovan Mitchell will be on the Cavs next season.
I say brick. I think the only way he'd be on the Cavs if they go win the championship or make it to the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, I think next series is going to be tough. Even tougher, I thought it could have been a good series with Jared Allen being there, but if he can't play early on, I think it could be tough for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, because he had that quote, I think it came out that he wouldn't return to the Cavs unless they made the finals. But say they make the conference finals, you know, with the Cavs, and I don't know, I can't really think of another destination that would be a better situation for him. So put yourself in his shoes. Why would you want to go to another team even if you didn't make it to the finals?
One, maybe because, which I don't know, I'm just speaking from my mindset of point of view of it. One, maybe that getting traded to the Cavs probably wasn't his number one destination.
Yeah.
But you're under contract, you show up and be a pro, you do your work. I think that's one. Two, do you feel like you have enough pieces to go win it all? Or do we have enough access to or trade values or anything or picks to go get somebody to make our team deeper or better? That three, do you want to be anywhere else? And is there other teams on your radar that you want to be at and play at? So that's how it all comes down to a trickle effect. You know what I mean? I got a couple teams in my mind I know that probably would be good for him. But, hey, it's not my decision. It's not my job to figure out where he wants to go. It's whatever he thinks is best for him or whatever make him happy. But end of the day, you got to respect the way he's going out there and competing.
Yeah.
And still represent the city of Cleveland, the team he's playing for, and respecting his teammates and coaching staff.
Yeah, great comeback last night. I think it was the biggest. They were down 18 at half.
They were down. No, they were down 17 early on in the game. They cut it to 10 at half.
Oh, that's right.
Cut it to 10 at half, and then they scored 33, and the Magic only had 15 in the third quarter, so they took over the advantage there and then had to close it out down the stretch. But give a big shout out to the Orlando Magic. They had a hell of a series, and shout out to Paulo Banchero for sure. To be young, to be in that moment, to want to take those big shots that young of an age, second year in the league, that's very special. And he has a very bright future ahead of him.
Dope. Okay, next one. So there are talks of NBA leaving TNT, leaving Turner, and going to the NBC, so that people are now talking about the fate of inside the NBA. So as a basketball fan, I know you watch nightly games. Would you say Inside the NBA is the greatest sports show in history?
Yeah, man. Growing up, you always wanted to see that. You know what I mean? It was spectacular. It was lit. But it's tough, bro, because with those four guys that be on TNT, bro, are hilarious.
Yeah.
They are funny. So, you know what I mean? I would love to see those guys stay together and not break it up because, you know what I mean, you got Shaq and Charles. They've been best friends and always arguing. You got Kenny, you know what I mean? Then you got Ernie. Those guys do a hell of a job, man. They make – even if you don't like basketball, you'll turn on that after the game is over or halftime just to see them do comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, running to the board to make races. Guaranteed. Chuck doing that, you know what I mean? It'd be super exciting. It'd be fun. So we never see, but like either one, I think they'll be fine with either one, but hopefully those guys can stay together.
Yeah, major bucket. All right, next one. So tomorrow or today, the Defensive Player of the Year is going to be announced. So I wanted to ask you, bucket or brick, Gobert. Rudy Gobert will be this season's Defensive Player of the Year.
I say bucket. I think they will give it to him just because of his history and them having the number one defense in the league.
Yeah.
I think he will get it.
Do you think he deserves it? Or do you think that's the right person to be getting it this season?
In my opinion, to me, I would say Bam, just because he can guard so many positions. And I don't think he get a lot of credit. You got to look at it, bro. Even though they still lost a series, I think game 2 they won. The second half he guarded Jason Tatum. Like not switching on Jason Tatum. He's guarding Jason Tatum. Running off pin downs, getting through screens. Like being able to be that versatile, man, to guard guards, centers, got to be special. You know what I mean? I think Wemby probably would have won it if he was not his rookie year because his numbers was insane. But I think in my opinion, I would give it to Bam, and I think it's just tough because AD does the same thing. You know what I mean? He can guard multiple positions. I think he never gets his credit. So shout out to AD. I think he should have been one of the finalists. But for me, my choice for Defensive Player of the Year, I would have took Bam Adebayo for sure.
Nice. Okay. Shout out Kentucky right there. Okay. Finally, Bucket or brick, Paul George will be on the Clippers next season. He's got a player option, but I know he wants more.
Spicy. This is a spicy bucket of brick today. I love it. To me, I say brick. The only reason why I say brick, I know Paul loves LA. Loves LA, want to be in LA. I know they want to run it back for sure. You know what I mean? And then you got to bring all those guys, all those LA guys, James, Russ, PG, Kawhi. I think you have to bring all those to their new arena they have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like at the same time and I know P don't play the game for the money. I mean, he play the game because he loves it. He competes at a high level, put the work in. I've seen it front and center. But you also want that security. I mean, you want that blanket to feel like,
right?
Because, we never know. Injuries can happen any moment. Something medical-wise, health-wise can happen. You can't play no more. You just want that security, that blanket. And I think he might opt in, but the way he played this year, played a lot of games, played a hell of a year, all-star, probably be all-NBA. He's up for extension, a max extension. I think he probably wants to. You know what I mean? Kawhi got it, which was deserving, so played the most games he played in a couple of years. And we've seen what he can do when he's healthy. It just sucks he had to deal with injuries again going into the playoffs. So that's my choice. I don't see Pete being back there, but I know he would love to be back there and stay in LA.
Can you sum up the Clippers situation right now where, they got these 4 future Hall of Famers. They're, this might just be a big thing for me because I live in LA, you've lived in LA, and they got that new arena. How hard of a difficult situation are they in to make sure that team is right going into a new arena, and maybe not being able to find as good of like a 4, super team, I guess, to put together to compete?
Like I said, all those guys being from the West Coast, being out there in LA, I feel like that's one of the reasons Ballmer made the move. You know what I mean? To get those guys there, and then Russ had a hell of a lid last year for them when Kawhi and PG didn't play in the playoffs. He was playing like the old Russ when he was back in OKC, just putting up big numbers, giving them a chance to fight every night. So, him. And that's one thing I give a shout out to Russ and give him credit for, because the biggest thing we deal with as players that's been superstars or been stars in this league or have built a name for ourselves is they feel like we can't accept the role. You know what I mean? And look at him. He's probably on a couple of teams in this league he'd be starting.
Right.
Or at least playing 30, 35 minutes. But some games it doesn't work out for him that way. And he's been a true professional about it. A great role player, accepting any role he wants for the team to win. And I seen him put it on the IG story, like everybody's saying the narrative about him and about this. And like you said, I just want to compete. I just want to win. I'm going to go out there and play hard and try to win. So I think you have to bring those 4 guys into that new arena. You know what I mean? 'Cause that brings a fan base. You have 4 future first ballot Hall of Famers coming into a new arena. It helps the ticket sales go up. Ballmer's a smart man. He knows what to do. So I think they'll try to figure a way out. But in the day, it all depends up to P if he wants the extension or he's willing to wait one more year to get the extension.
That's right. Yeah, another interesting thing to look out for this offseason. All right, John, this has been another episode of Point Game. Anything you want to leave with the fans?
Showtime, man. Keep watching the playoffs. We're going to give y'all more stories, more episodes. And it's been fun communicating and talking to y'all.
Big guests on the way, too. Subscribe. Everyone, Point Game presented by DraftKings. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the pod. Leave us that 5-star review and leave questions. Don't be scared, like John says. Ask us, and we will answer them.
Ask questions. Please ask some questions.
This Point
Make it
Game.
entertaining. Ask some questions.
All right. Peace, y'all.